Welcome back to my channel Knowledge Chronicle.
Imagine you wake up one morning and find your taps running dry. You rush to a nearby river only to discover it smells like sewage and looks like chemical soup. Frightening, right? Unfortunately, this isn't fiction. It's the harsh reality of water pollution. We humans treat water like it's endless and indestructible, dumping every kind of waste into it. Plastic, sewage, chemicals, industrial runoff. But here's the truth. Water is not a magic disappearing machine. It's our lifeline, and it's under serious threat. So today, we're diving deep into what water pollution really is, how domestic sewage and industries destroy our water, terms like BOD, eutrophication, biomagnification, algal bloom, real-life case studies and innovative solutions, and what you can do to help. Let's get started. So, what is water pollution? Well, water pollution happens when harmful substances, like garbage, chemicals, or untreated sewage, enter water bodies such as rivers, lakes, ponds, oceans, and even groundwater, making the water unsafe for life. Now, ask yourself, what are we washing away into our rivers and drains every day? Domestic waste, industrial waste, fertilizers and pesticides, plastic and non-biodegradable trash, and thermal discharge. It's a lot more than we might think. From the Ganga in India to the Mississippi in the USA, almost every major river is affected. This toxic habit has led to the slow death of lakes, ponds, and even underground water reserves. That's why, in 1974, the Water Prevention and Control of Pollution Act was passed in India. It's actually the first law made to protect and manage water resources. Domestic sewage, it's really a silent killer. What do we flush away daily from our homes? Well, the answer is pretty much everything. From food waste to soaps, detergents to human excreta, all of it ends up in drains and ultimately, rivers. Now here's a shocking fact. Only 0.1% impurity can make water completely unfit for drinking. So, domestic sewage mainly contains a few key things. First, there's organic matter like food particles and waste. It also has pathogens, which are basically disease-causing microbes. Then you'll find nutrients such as nitrates and phosphates. And sometimes there are toxic metals, which can come from pipes or even soaps. Now, let's talk about BOD. That's biochemical oxygen demand. Ever heard this term? Well, BOD tells us how much oxygen is needed to break down organic matter in water. The thing is, a higher BOD means there's more pollution. When untreated sewage is dumped into rivers, here's what happens. Microbes begin decomposing the waste. These microbes need oxygen to do their job, so oxygen levels in the water drop sharply. This, unfortunately, kills fish and other aquatic life. Let's take a real-life example. Imagine a stretch of river near a city where you can actually see a visible decline in aquatic life. Upstream, everything seems fine, but just downstream of a sewage outlet, it's pretty much lifeless. Now let's talk about something called algal bloom, sometimes even referred to as the terror of Bengal. Have you ever seen those green or reddish layers floating on ponds or lakes? Well, those are what we call algal blooms, and they're caused by an excess of nutrients like nitrates and phosphates. These nutrients, by the way, mostly come from sewage and fertilizers. So, algal blooms cause quite a few problems actually. First, they block sunlight from reaching underwater plants, which really affects their growth. They also reduce oxygen levels in the water, and that can kill fish. And you know, some species even release toxins that are dangerous to humans. Now let's talk about water hyacinth, or Eichhornia crassipes, which is also known as the terror of Bengal. It was actually imported from South America for its pretty purple flowers, but now this plant grows completely out of control in Indian water bodies. So why is it so harmful? Well, it blocks waterways, prevents oxygen transfer, reduces biodiversity, and honestly, it grows faster than we can remove it. It's especially abundant in eutrophic water bodies, those that are, rich in nutrients due to pollution. Now, when it comes to industrial waste and biomagnification, industrial pollution is even worse. It really has a devastating impact on our water bodies. So, There are different types of factories, like petroleum refineries, paper mills, and, chemical and metal industries. These factories, they release heavy metals like mercury, cadmium, and lead, along with toxic organic compounds. Biomagnification, well, this means that a toxic chemical like DDT or mercury actually increases in concentration as you move up the food chain. Okay, so let's break it down. Water contains just about 0.003 parts per billion of DDT. Plankton absorb this DDT, and then fish eat the plankton. After that, bigger fish eat the smaller fish. Finally, birds eat those fish. And believe it or not, the DDT concentration in the birds can reach as high as 25 parts per million. Now, this much DDT in birds leads to some serious problems, like thin eggshells, eggs breaking before they're supposed to, and eventually, a decline in bird populations. Here's a real-life example. DDT almost wiped out several bird species in North America until it was finally banned. Eutrophication. It's kind of like nature's aging gone wrong. So natural eutrophication is a slow process. Lakes naturally age over thousands of years, mainly due to the accumulation of nutrients, the growth of plants, and the deposition of organic matter. Over time, these changes eventually turn the lake into land. But now, thanks to pollution, this whole process is happening in just a few decades instead of thousands of years. This is what we call cultural or accelerated eutrophication. Accelerated eutrophication is caused by things like sewage, agricultural runoff, and industrial waste. So this leads to algal blooms, fish death, bad odors, and a loss of aquatic biodiversity. Thermal pollution is often called the invisible threat. You see, thermal power plants release hot water into rivers and lakes, and this is what we refer to as thermal pollution. Its effects include a sudden rise in temperature, which kills organisms that are sensitive to heat, disturbs breeding cycles, and, well, can sometimes benefit cold region plants and fish, but usually only after damaging the native species. So even temperature can be a pollutant. Real Solutions case study in EcoSan toilets. Let's now see some hope. Case study Arcata, California. The town created a unique integrated wastewater treatment system with help from Humboldt State University. So, there are basically two stages to the treatment. First is the conventional treatment, which involves sedimentation, filtering, and the use of chlorine. Then comes the natural treatment, where water flows through about 60 hectares of constructed marshes. These marshes are filled with algae, fungi, bacteria, and various aquatic plants. And what's the result of all this? Well, pollutants are absorbed and neutralized, and the water actually becomes clean naturally. Plus, these marshes end up supporting a lot of biodiversity. Birds, animals, and fish all thrive here. Oh, and it's all maintained by a citizens group called FOAM, or Friends of Arcata Marsh. EcoSan toilets. Now these are being called the future of sanitation. I mean, why flush when we can compost, right? So, ecological sanitation, or EcoSan toilets, actually use dry composting instead of water. The benefits are pretty significant. There's no need for water, they're hygienic and cost-effective, and they even turn waste into natural fertilizer. Plus, this reduces the use of chemical fertilizers, which is a big win for the environment. And working EcoSan toilets already exist in parts of Kerala and Sri Lanka. We must understand that water is not just for us, it's for all life. Polluting it means destroying our own future. Small steps by individuals, strong policies by governments, and innovations by scientists can together bring clean water back to Earth. Let's not wait until it's too late. Your one like, share, and subscribe will help us create more valuable content. Thank you for watching Knowledge Chronicle. See you in the next video.